is what goes around comes around. Hamo shot me 3 weeks later, he got shot down.
Did you ever find out who did it?
Yeah, I know who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
50 up there. Preem, dude, you know the old school. You know what 50 did? Yeah, my.
Do it back, yeah.
Yeah, my. Oh, you know what the block did?
Yeah, that's what
We all know the story of 50 Cent getting shot 9 times, an event that's become part of hip-hop history. He was just chilling outside his grandmother's house when a car rolled up and someone started blasting. He got hit everywhere, his hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and even his face. It was brutal.
Car pulled up on the side of us. The guy got out the passenger seat of that car, came around behind it, and shot through the
All right, I knew I was about to die.
He barely survived, had to be rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and underwent multiple surgeries just to pull through. At the time, the reasons behind the shooting were unclear. Some said it was connected to his past in the drug trade, while others thought it was due to a personal beef. Either way, people believe 50 had it coming. Why? Because let's be real, a younger 50 Cent was even more reckless and insufferable than the 50 we know today. He didn't care who he pissed off.
50 up there. Preem, dude, you know the old school shit. You know what 50 did? Yeah, my nigga.
Do it back, yeah.
Yeah, my nigga.
That's,
oh, you know what the block did?
Yeah, that's what
So, when he kept pushing people's buttons and even dropped a song called Ghetto Quran, which pissed off one of the most dangerous men around, Supreme McGriff, it was only a matter of time before 50 got what was coming to him.
Boy, you slow my I'ma break it down illa. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
This is where a guy named Hamo comes in, hired to change the course of 50's life. What's even crazier is that this guy had close ties to none other than Mike Tyson. And then in another twist, Hamo himself met a tragic end just 3 weeks after carrying out the hit on 50 Cent.
Did you ever find out who did it?
Yeah, I know who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
So how did all of this connect? Why was a guy in Tyson's circle acting as a hitman? And who took him out weeks later? Let's break it down. To really understand how all this went down, we need to go back to the early 1980s. That's when Supreme founded a gang named after himself, the Supreme Team, based in the Jamaica section of Queens, New York. Under his leadership, the gang grew to have hundreds of members and controlled the crack cocaine trade in the Basley Park houses where McGriff grew up. The gang was pulling in about $200,000 a day. But in 1987, McGriff was sentenced to 12 years in prison. He got out on parole in 1994, but by the end of that year, he was back behind bars. It wasn't until 1997 that he managed to get his convictions cleared and started a new chapter in his life. He got involved with Ja Rule and the folks at Murder Inc., where he became one of the main players, offering protection to the label's artists. During this time, Preemy and 50 had a decent relationship, but 50's career was floundering. He wasn't a star yet and was far from being a famous rapper like Ja Rule. Things were tough for him, so he started dissing the entire industry in his song How to Rob, just to get some attention and make a little money off his album. Then came the infamous beef with Ja Rule. According to 50, his friend Troy had robbed Jay. When Ja and 50 later met at a club, 50 wanted to clear the air, but Ja thought 50 was involved in the robbery. Ja later confirmed the robbery happened, but denied ever seeing 50 with the guy who robbed him.
But it had nothing to do with him. Like, I didn't even know.
Supreme stepped in and asked 50 to stop harassing Ya, and since Premier was someone 50 looked up to, he agreed, but he kept dissing Ya in his song Your Life's on the Line, even though he cut out some lines mocking Ja as a studio gangster who needed Premier's help to get his chain back, out of respect for Premier.
Murder, fuck around and leave you murder. I don't believe.
In 1999, a tragic event shook both Premier and 50. Their mutual friend Black Just was killed. The story goes that rapper E Moneybags wanted to buy a car from Preemy and had paid a deposit. When E Moneybags wanted his money back, Preemy laughed it off, telling him to forget about it. One day, E Moneybags shot at Preemy while he was in a car with Black Just got hit twice, including in the thigh. Instead of going straight to the hospital, which was nearby, Preemy went to the hood and asked someone else to take Just to the hospital. This delay cost Just his life, making E Moneybags some serious enemies.
Just like that. He said that wasn't for Just. I just looked at him, man, and I say, E, that is Just. He's dead.
Now the beef with Ja Rule didn't really cool down, and Premi was always in Ja's corner, trying to talk 50 Cent into chilling out and stopping the harassment, but 50 wasn't too thrilled that Premi kept siding with Ja. Plus, Premi didn't see 50 as a potential superstar anyway. Why bother changing things up when you're making good money from an established star like Ja Rule? Then, things really blew up when Ja and 50 performed at the same club and ended up in a brawl. 50 walked away with the Ja Rule's chain, which he even flaunted in the music video for Life's on the Line. Naturally, Ja ran to Premi again to get his chain back. At this point, Premi was getting fed up with 50 because he was messing up his superstar's image, and this was the second time he had to step in to fix things for Ja. 50 was determined to bring down Murder Inc., and his relationship with Premi kept getting worse. In an interview with XXL, 50 shared a story about hearing that Ya was filming in the Coliseum area. He decided to pay him a visit, packing a pistol and riding a motorbike over there. He ran into Premi, who told him, "Hey, come here, don't even do it, I see you." Premi pulled him aside and 50 was like, "Yo, what's up with this dude?" Premi just told him to leave Ya alone, saying, Nah, I told you, leave them alone, man, you know they ain't gonna do nothing." Tony Yayo also shared a story about one of the encounters between Preem and 50 when their relationship was falling apart, where 50 showed Preem that he wasn't scared of him.
50 up there. Preem, dude, you know the old school shit.
To make things more intense, 50 started hanging out with E, Moneybags, Big Nose Troy, and Green Eyed Born, all of whom had beef with Preme. Things hit a boiling point when 50 released the track Ghetto Quran, which leaked and got into Preme's hands. In the song, 50 mentioned Preme, and that didn't sit well with him at all.
For you slow I'ma break it down illa. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the
50 claimed that other artists had talked about Supreme and his shady past, and Supreme was fine with it, even happy that rappers were mentioning his gang in their songs. But when 50 brought him up, Preme got mad. Other gangsters from New York understood that 50's song was just a tribute, but Preme didn't see it that way. Around this time, someone almost killed Supreme at a gas station, and Supreme thought 50 Cent was behind it. So he decided to take out his enemies, with 50 being the first on the list. Preme hired Daryl Baum, aka Hamo, who used to be Mike Tyson's bodyguard, to kill 50 Cent for a hefty sum. For those of you who aren't familiar with who Daryl Baum, aka Hamo, was, let's rewind a bit. After making easy work of Lou Severes in the first round, Iron Mike Tyson was gearing up for a big fight against Lennox Lewis, which would turn out to be the best-selling fight of his career. Now, in the world of boxing, there's this thing called a promo, basically a hyped-up interview to build interest for the fight. Tyson was known for his epic promos, but this time he started by dedicating it to a deceased friend, Daryl Hamo Baum.
Mike, was that your shortest fight ever? I bet what if there's only one God and Muhammad blesses the people.
Hamo was once Tyson's bodyguard and also the man who nearly killed 50 Cent. In the few months after his decade-long stint in prison, Hamo became a bodyguard for the baddest man on the planet. He almost changed hip-hop history, but ended up as a casualty in a gang war that wiped out his entire crew. Daryl Hamo Baum, a notorious gangster from the Lafayette Gardens projects in Brooklyn, earned his nickname, not because he was a killer, but because he was infamous for knocking people out with one punch and then robbing them as a teenager. Despite being only about 5'7" and walking with a limp, Hamo's reputation was fierce. So how did he end up as Iron Mike's bodyguard? Well, Hamo and Mike crossed paths in juvie during Mike's troubled youth. They went different ways. Mike became a heavyweight boxing champ, while Hamo spent most of the 90s in prison for robbery. Hamo got out on New Year's Eve in 1999, and Tyson, knowing his friend would struggle to reintegrate into society, tried to help him out. He gave Hamo a car, cash, a Rolex, and a job as his bodyguard. But rumor has it, Hamo had trouble accepting handouts and wanted to make his own money. Shortly after his release, Hamo joined the Peanut Crew street gang and got involved with Kenneth Supreme McGriff. But by then, Hamo was 34 and the streets were crawling with younger, hungrier gangsters. Despite this, Hamo quickly made his presence known and started pressuring dealers to sell drugs for him. At that time, he was also allegedly staying at Tyson's mansion in Connecticut, the same mansion that 50 Cent would later buy from Tyson. Now, after the beef between 50 Cent and Supreme escalated, Preem ordered a hit on 50. On May 24, 2050, left his grandmother's house with his son inside and his grandmother in the front yard. As he got into the backseat of a car, another car pulled up and an assailant walked up to the window, firing 9 shots from a 9mm pistol. 50 was hit in the hand, arm, hip, both legs, chest, and left cheek. a few inches higher, and he wouldn't have made it. Miraculously, after 3 weeks in the hospital and multiple surgeries, 50 pulled through. His survival became one of the most legendary stories in rap folklore. 3 years later, the track Many Men would reveal Hamo as the shooter, but by then Hamo was long dead. Not by 50's doing or blessing.
What goes around comes around. Hamo shot me 3 weeks later, he got shot down.
Hamo was murdered 3 weeks after the shooting, but the timing was just a coincidence. At the time of his death, Hamo was a member of the Peanut Crew, run by Ivory Peanut Davis and James J.R. Hamilton. The previous year, in June 1999, Myron Wise Hardy was killed in the Lafayette Gardens housing project, sparking a turf war between drug gangs. Myron belonged to the Cash Money Brothers CMB crew, formed in 1991 and led by Myron and his incarcerated brother, Damian World Hardy. CMB controlled the crack trade in Bed-Stuy's Lafayette Gardens projects. Damian had shown signs of being homicidal in the 90s. In 1998, he was thrown out of a Brooklyn roller skating rink by a bouncer named Michael Collin. In retaliation, Damian had Collin murdered by another CMB member. When Damian was in prison and heard about his brother's murder, he vowed revenge on the entire Peanut Crew, including Hamo, even though Hamo was in prison at the time of the murder. The alleged shooter was Peanut Davis's nephew, Rummel Davis. It was a bloody summer for the Peanut Crew. Damian ordered his enforcer, Aaron eBay Granton, to take out Peanut and his crew. The killing spree started when CMB member Dwayne Thor Myers murdered Gerard Kojak Mackins in the vestibule of the same building where Myron Hardy was killed. Mackins, a member of the Peanut Crew, was suspected of supplying Rummel Davis with the gun used to kill Hardy. Next, at around 2 a.m. on June 10, 2000, Hamo was lured to the corner of Quincy Street and Marcy Avenue by a woman. As he sat in his car waiting, eBay appeared at the driver's seat window and shot him in the back of the head, ending Homo's brief return to Brooklyn streets. Tyson later paid for all of Homo's funeral expenses. On August 1st, Junior Hamilton was shot inside Filet of Soul, a seafood restaurant he owned, and on August 10th, at around 4 a.m., eBay caught up to Peanut Davis at Club NV in New York's Soho district, shooting him twice in the back as he sat in his Range Rover. In a panic and fatally wounded, Davis hit the gas and fled the scene, accidentally hitting 38-year-old award-winning Swedish filmmaker Johan Kamitz, who was walking on the sidewalk. Kamitz, the director of the Wannabe and Save Tonight music videos, died after being rushed to the hospital while Davis was pronounced dead at the scene. But CMB wasn't finished yet. In 2002, Daryl Hamo Baum's older brother Tyrone T-Rock Baum got out of prison, but he made a critical error. He openly talked about avenging his brother's death. This kind of talk didn't go unnoticed. And when CMB members caught wind of T-Rock's intentions, they ambushed him near a construction site, shooting him 3 times in the head. It was a brutal reminder of how ruthless the streets could be. Meanwhile, Damian World Hardy had an interesting turn in his personal life. In 2002, he started dating Lil Kim, and the two were even engaged at one point. The irony here is pretty thick. Lil Kim's 1995 music video for Junior Mafia's hit song Get Money featured none other than Peanut Davis, Hardy's slain enemy, as her love interest. Lil Kim had also dated Myron Wise Hardy, Damian's brother, who was known to have physically abused her, allegedly breaking her nose. This led to the plastic surgery that Lil Kim is famously known for today. Things took another wild turn in September 2003. Hardy got into a shootout with 50 Cent's security team outside a Doubletree hotel in New Jersey. This beef reportedly stemmed from an earlier incident that year when Hardy confronted 50 Cent over a diss aimed at Lil Kim during a Hot 97 radio interview in New York. Fast forward to April 2005, and the Daily News reported that Damian World Hardy had a $50,000 bounty on Mike Tyson's head. Hardy believed Tyson was responsible for Hamo's murder. CMB members allegedly tracked Tyson and once found him in a Range Rover in the Crown Heights neighborhood. However, they couldn't go through with the hit because Tyson, like them, was a Muslim. Tyson was never charged in connection with the alleged murder-for-hire plot. Damian World Hardy managed to avoid the law for a while, but was eventually caught. In 2015, he was found guilty of ordering 6 murders and was sentenced to life without parole. His enforcer, Aaron eBay Granton, also received 6 life sentences. Supreme later claimed that 50 was a snitch, which he believed led to his life sentence. 50 denied any involvement in the case. All this drama was chronicled in a documentary series named Supreme Team, released in 2022 and directed by Nas.
Documentary. I'm not in that case.
Yeah.
There's nothing about nothing. All he says is He know me. He know what that was about. And what that was about was he got an
The shooting of 50 Cent had a major impact on his public image. Before the attack, people primarily knew him for his musical talent, but after taking 9 bullets and surviving, he became known for his toughness and resilience. The incident added a new layer to his persona. He started calling himself a survivor, using his experience as a way to inspire others facing their own struggles. During an episode of Oprah's Next Chapter in 2012, 50 Cent revisited the scene of the shooting and shared some vivid memories. He said, "I arrived around 12 o'clock in the afternoon on May 24th. My grandmother was in the yard planting flowers. I moved over to get in the car where my friend was waiting, and suddenly a car pulled up next to us. A guy stepped out from the passenger seat, came around the car, and started shooting through the car." This shooting didn't just change 50 Cent's life and career, it also had a significant impact on the broader hip-hop community. It served as a stark reminder of the violence and danger that often came with the drug trade, especially in neighborhoods like South Jamaica, Queens. The incident sparked a wider discussion about the role of guns in the hip-hop world. Many artists and fans began to reflect on the dangerous lifestyle glorified in rap music and its real-life consequences. In the years following the shooting, 50 Cent's career skyrocketed. He used his newfound tough guy image to his advantage, building an empire that spanned music, movies, and business ventures. These days, he's involved in artist and talent management, record production, television and film production, and even footwear, apparel, and fragrances. He's got his hands in liquor, video games, mobile apps, book publishing, headphones, health drinks, and dietary supplements. It's safe to say that Jackson's business ventures are as diverse as they come. In the world of music, 50 Cent has sold over 30 million albums worldwide and has a trophy case full of awards, including a Grammy, a Primetime Emmy, 13 Billboard Music Awards, 6 World Music Awards, 3 American Music Awards, and 4 BET Awards.